Sorry, I'm going to sit because I need to change the slides. Hello, I'm from Nizhny Novgorod, from Russia. I'm working in a company Intech. It is 15 years old, and there are more than 200 implemented projects. We deal with was services. It is DVRs, for example, and we have such partners as Beeline, MTS, Tele2, and we work in other Russian cities. And today I would like to tell you more about the developer dashboard and how to use it in testing. I was using heuristics ABCD for testing, and also for roles I used a developer and a tester. So please raise your hand those who know anything about the developer dashboard. Okay, all of you do. Good. Raise your hands those who know anything about tester dashboard. Okay, nobody knows what it is, probably because there is no panel, no dashboard like that. I just called it this way in order to gather more audience. Well, I'm just joking, of course. Just like, let's take a look at this developer dashboard and why it can be useful for us. So we can see the elements in different mistakes and to see if there are any console mistakes, and let's have a closer look at it. Okay, don't worry. So let's check the data on navigation. So we choose an element from one page, and you can see that it is very efficient. You can use navigation to find all the information on Devu. If we need to check something quite rapidly, we don't have much time for that. Or maybe some changes or just cosmetic changes. For example, a font has been changed. And sometimes fonts are changed this way that it is difficult to see what has actually happened and what has been changed. And at least we can see it in the log, font family, and can see the changes that have been made. So maybe the developers have forgotten something or have done something to it, so we can basically check it out in this font family tab, and we can see the changes that have been made. We can have this regime of adaptive design. We can choose it over here and can have a look at adaptive design, for example, which helps us to find some bugs quite quickly. For example, we have a portal, we take a look at it. It is okay for us. From the first view, we see how it can be shown to users. Then we check out how it looks at iPhone XXS. And we can see here that right here something is not visible in the very down part of the page. So let's get rid of this element from the page. And we can see the div that is called footer has been planned in the very beginning, but then for some reason it is not visible anymore. So we localize this bug and we put all the information for testers. We save our time and save time of the tester. So I think that is quite comfortable. What else do we have here? We can also take a look at tabs on network. So we can see how much time it takes for some requests. There are difficult requests and there are not so difficult requests. I'll deal with it a bit later. And also we're interested in the storage tab. We will clean cookies here. We all know that cookies are good for testers and good for the testers' health, because when we leave the developer's dashboard, only in this case that there is older bug, and to get rid of it we need to clean the cookies. And in this case we have cleaned out all the cookies and we get all the information from the server, or we can also get rid of some other cookies and get this information as well. So we can also have a look at this console tab. Sometimes we can clean it up because sometimes developers forget to delete console logs in the console, and it all goes to production. I asked developers to leave some console logs here, and we can see that when we click the play button, we can see a log in the console that the name with the name of the music piece that has been downloaded from some server. So it is a shame, and besides it can contain some personal data, and it is a very restricted area for us. Besides, some data can appear here that hackers can use, or some malicious programs. So you can see these console logs are very important for us. We can also see some advantages that we can find in developer dashboard. We can see that there are no other mistakes in the console, and we can check out the processes that happen here. So we are interested in errors 400 and 500, and we can also take a look at the time that those processes take. So what do we do here? It is quite easy here, but it takes a lot of time. But easy, once again, I stress it out. So we can find the Chrome tab, and we can see how the requests are going on. It is also a network, and we can also see the time that one request takes on the average. So why is it important for us? Because we activate the mobile internet here, and the share of developers who share of users who use mobile internet is more than 50%, and in this case, search engines don't state in its ratings those services that are waiting for quite a long time for updates or for downloads and so on, for loading and so on. So let's see those requests that are heavier than 625 miles per second. So we're interested in those ones. We find them and we show them to the developers. We say that they are bad ones. Let's also have a look at the requests themselves, if there are any bugs or mistakes or errors here. Maybe we can find something interesting here. You can see there are error 200 and 304. They're okay, but let's try to do it this way. Maybe something interesting happens. No, nothing here. Okay. Errors 404 and 500, so they're a must-have in order to make this information as a bug. What else do we have here? Okay, it doesn't work for some reason. Okay, we can clean cache. We can emulate slow internet very easily, and it can be done in Firefox, Chrome, and other browsers. We can just choose any VIP that we're interested in and see how our page is loading. At this stage, we can also find some bugs here that might be interesting for us. Also check the speed of the page loading. Also, there is a very interesting thing that is called Google Audit. It is a button Run Audit, which you can click and you get some information about our web application. So for us as testers, it is interesting to have a look at the information on the not used pieces of GS code and some not used CSS rules. So we have to clean all of it, localize it, and to show it to the developers as well. Let's go back to our presentation. And what is interesting for me in developer's dashboard is a possibility to open this tab from your mobile device and to debug the website from it. So we need to connect ADB drivers that there are on the Android website, open it from the remote device, connect our smartphone, and that's the profit for us. So how can it help us in everyday life? So let's have a look at it. I will connect my device. So it is connected. It has been found. I can open Chrome here. I'm waiting for room to understand that there is something interesting over here. And here I can see some tabs. There is a tab that is called Inspect, for example, and in the real time I can see how long it will take for it to be opened. Sometimes it takes some time, sometimes it doesn't take any time at all. Well, let's see how it goes this way.
Okay. So if it doesn't want to work, let's leave it like that. So, okay. No, it doesn't want to make it.
Иногда тупит, бывает, но чаще всего отображается вкладка в режиме реального времени.
In most cases, we have a tab in real-time mode. So, what else can we find in this inspect component? In normal practice, we test our application at all mobile devices, at all the fleet of mobile devices that we have at our disposal. But very often it happens that in some of these mobile devices, we have bugs displayed that we need to localize, and at the PC we don't see it, but we can see it at a mobile device, and we have to deal with that. I have a problem, for example, that I cannot change the language in this case. I can do it every second time, every second attempt. I don't know what to do with that, but I can see the mobile version of the site. I can put the arrow to this component and see that the link which leads to the version of the website with another language, it's very small. I have a very thin finger, so I try to get to another language, but I cannot do it with my finger. So you see, like some people won't be able to make it. So that's why I localize it. I see the component, I see the size, and nothing disturbs me with describing it and save time both for myself and for the developer. Let's now look at how this feature can help us in testing, functional testing. Well, we have to wait a little, and probably we will manage. Okay, let's have a look at our website. We have an empty queue of tracks reproduction. So I press play, it's not played, but I see component, 3 dots. When you press it, we have to get the line of melody, the display. So we have the line, but nothing is reproduced. Okay, let's try to select this component. We see that the component track, let's try to do it again. A little slow, but we see that the track component been integrated in the application, but it's displayed not in the best way possible. So we localize it, and then we save time of the developer, our own time, and time needed to fix the bug. And at the end, we go to console, and here we see a lot of mistakes, a lot of bugs, and all of them connected with one thing, that we plan to upload the melody, the stack is empty, and we cannot upload it. So we copy one bug, we localize it, we write to the developer, and that's the end. Okay, let's draw the conclusions. So I recommend you to study the possibilities of the developer's console. I think it will save our testers' time, it will save the developers' time, and it will save a lot of efforts and will allow to deploy the product to the prod as fast as possible. These are some useful links, and thank you for your attention.
Может, вопросы какие-то есть? Спасибо.
If any questions,
Здравствуйте,
please ask
спасибо
them.
за доклад.
Thank you for your
Такой у меня
presentation.
вопрос.
My
Тоже пыталась подключить
question is
устройство,
that I
но
tried to connect
Chrome его
the
не
gadget,
видит. В
but
чем может быть причина?
Chrome
Да,
doesn't see
спасибо
it.
большое за вопрос. Тут может быть две
Well,
причины.
thank you for your
Первая
question.
причина
The
—
first
это то,
reason,
что у вас
possible reason, is that your gadget
подключено, например,
is
к мобильной
connected
сети.
to
В то же время
the mobile network,
ноутбук, например,
but
у
at the
него
same time,
Wi-Fi.
the
И если
laptop
такая вот
works
бывает,
in Wi-Fi mode.
непонятка,
And
то, как
in this
правило,
case,
он
Chrome
не определяет
cannot
устройство. Вот
detect
такой,
the
да.
device
Либо второй
sometimes.
момент,
And
не
the second
установлены
reason,
драйвера ADB.
you don't have
Либо
ADB
Поняла,
drivers
спасибо.
installed.
Да, проверить можно
So you can
через
check it
команду
via ADB, ADB,
через команды ADB можно
ADB
проверить,
commands.
видит ли вообще ваше
You
устройство,
have
есть
to
ли
check
у вас
whether
драйвера.
it sees your device, whether you have the
Поняла,
drivers,
спасибо.
two devices like that. Thank you.
Всё, спасибо большое.
Okay, thank you.